Yo, what's up, everybody? I hope you're doing well. Just a quick one. We have changed over the feed of the podcast. So if you weren't subscribed, or if you did subscribe at the beginning, you probably won't be subscribed now. So please, if you want, please go and hit subscribe on your iTunes or Spotify or whatever you're kind of listening to. We've changed that over. So if you could go change that, that'd be amazing. Sorry for the hassle. Just had some technical issues. However, let's move on to this week's show. It's one of my good homies from Chicago, Gene Farris. Doesn't really need much of an introduction as he's been around for so many years, done or had so many achievements in music, released some amazing music. And this conversation was really good. It got pretty deep. We spoke about issues in the industry, issues in the world, and current situation of what's going on at the moment. Without further ado, the one and only Gene Farris. Gene Farris, how's it going, man?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good. I'm just living life COVID-free, baby. What can I say?
That's the way forward, right?
That's it. That's the only way. Gotta just sit tight, maintain, and be careful. That's the best way to say it, and use common sense, man. That's it, right?
What a fucking crazy time right now.
Unbelievable. I was speaking to who was I talking to yesterday? It was somebody in our industry. Actually, I went golfing yesterday with Green Velvet's nephew, with Bruce, the guy who runs Relief.
Yeah.
So I was talking to Bruce on the golf course yesterday. He's like, man, industry's crazy right now, man. He's like, everything's nuts. I said, man, we're in uncharted territories, Bruce. Like, I've never experienced anything like this as a human, let alone as a person in the just a DJ.
Yeah.
So
it's wild.
This is definitely uncharted territories, uncharted waters.
I was just having dinner with my parents, and my dad just came out with it and was like, I think this is going to be going on for like the next 18 months. And I'm like, way to make me feel good, Dad.
Way to lift my spirits, Pop.
Jeez.
You know what?
It's not good. What's that?
Well, the festivals we've been doing, the big ones like, the Creamfields and the real Spring Awakening and the movements and Tomorrowlands and all. I don't see that happening probably until 2022, to be realistic.
Jeez.
Yeah, that level of festival. I could be wrong. I pray I'm wrong. My wife prays I'm wrong.
So does the mortgage company and the bank balance.
Yeah, man. The bill collectors pray that I'm right, but everybody else, my family hopes that I'm wrong, you know. But I think that level of festival we won't see for another until 2022. But clubs, I think that'll come back first, maybe, and definitely like rooftop open air parties, like State, like we had here at the State. And, different venues like that have open air rooftops. I think that'll be the boogie probably all next year. And then they may ease into clubs, but I think there's going to be a lot of restrictions. Like I'm playing Spy Bar on Saturday. Okay. And it's a 50-person capacity maximum. Yeah, so it's just like basically all my mates are gonna come over and just chill. You gotta wear mandatory mask,
and you're not allowed to dance.
You can dance, but just obviously the brilliant thing is for you and I, we're in the DJ booth, so we're kind of away from everything. And I'm gonna be wearing a mask while I DJ as well, even though I'm gonna be up there all by myself. But I just want to give the right message to people that. We should be wearing masks and we should be trying to be as respectful as we can and
you
just
have
trying
to,
to do the right thing.
You have to. I was in Bristol the other day and it's a bit different over here in the UK. Just where I don't know. The whole mask thing isn't like being promoted as much as it is in the US. Obviously, but Like, I was in Bristol the other day and no fucker was wearing a mask. And it was like, I was wearing a mask and people just look at you like you're this fucking crazy dude. And I've got this like black mask. It looks like I'm going to rob a bank without a shadow of a doubt. But
especially with that beard coming
exactly,
up. Exactly.
I just look like this crazy motherfucker. It's just not good. But I actually had John Curley and Joe Calderone on the podcast last week, and they were
wicked. Okay,
yeah, they were kind of talking about all the stuff that's going on with Spy Buys. I feel to be fair, like, I don't know your like situation right now, but I feel blessed right now, the situation I'm in. However, I feel really fucking sorry for like the venues, the bar, the like bar staff, the promoters, everybody that's kind of that has to.
Well, the whole industry,
yeah,
really,
it's
right?
fucked, man. It's so fucked, and I just
go
on.
No, I was just gonna say, I agree with you totally, in that it's kind of how do I say it? Like a scale, right? It's on one hand, it's brilliant. We've had a time to step back, reflect, enjoy a summer. Like, when's the last time you enjoyed a summer? Like, this has been great as far as that, enjoying actual time with my family, and not sounding cliche, but actually enjoying my time with my son. And it's, I mean, shit, look at this. We got bikes and shit. Fuck, like, I don't bike ride. What the fuck is that, man? Like, this is all like new territory about things I talked about on a plane or in the green room with you. Like, oh man, if I was at home right now, I would be XYZ.
Yeah.
But now I have the actual time to do it. And it's been great for, I say, 90% of the time. But, I seen a meme that kind of explain this whole thing with some parents, and it had the guy, what's his name, Maury, has a show with the "You're not the father" kind of thing, and he had the meme says, you said if you had time to spend with your children, you would love it. But COVID-19 has showed that is not true. So, it's, like I said, 90% of the time it's great. 10% of the time I get cabin fever. I start freaking out. My wife's like, go for a walk or something, or go to the studio, you know what I mean, and come back, and then usually when I go to the studio, because my studio's not here at the house where I live, it's at another building that my mom actually lives in. That building, actually. It's the building I grew up in. We own that building. So my studio's there. So sometimes, man, I have to escape and, get close to the music. Absolutely. I get the itch, and I miss it so much. I miss the people so much, man.
Yeah.
I miss that energy so much. It's definitely a balance of love and hate, and things where you think about what I was doing last year. You kind of torture yourself, like, shit, this time last year I was, and then you fucking, Facebook doesn't fucking help. It pops up right on your timeline. You're like in the middle of like 20,000 people, like, yeah, motherfucker. So it's like you just gotta kind of, like I said, some of those things actually may never happen again on that level.
Yeah.
So you have to be thankful that we had those moments. Hopeful that we have them again.
Yeah.
And just do everything that you can right now to ensure that you're doing your part, that this gets over as quick as possible.
Totally, man. It's a very crazy time for a lot of people.
Man.
In lots of industries, especially the entertainment. We're not a necessity. As much as we all think, and our egos want to tell ourselves that we're a necessity in life, we're fucking not.
No.
We're the first people to go. Like, first people.
We're the bottom of the barrel. Yeah. Bottom of the barrel, man.
100%.
They can listen to us in their car or watch us, for film guys. They're just as screwed as us. Like, they figured out, like, we don't really have to go to the movies to see the Avengers, do we? We could just like watch it on our couch. You know what I mean? You know, and then for us, it's like, oh, you know, I don't have to listen. I don't really have to go see Gene or Will. Like, I could just turn them on like Spotify, for, you know, until this thing's over with. You know, it's like you realize very quickly that you're not a doctor, you're not a nurse, you're not a teacher, you're not a cop. You're just a form of entertainment to make people kind of forget about their normal day, which is a very important thing.
Escape reality. But that's what we're there for.
Right, but we're not top of the food chain by any means in this situation.
So you know? in the UK, the cinemas open this weekend, and then,
that's wicked.
Yeah, and then I got an email from the cinema that I go to, and it was like, okay, we were supposed to be opening this weekend, but we moved it back to the July the 10th, and then we've moved it back to July the 31st. And then I'm like, of course they moved it back. There's no films. Like nothing for you to see. Why would you fucking go and see everything that was in beforehand is just gone and out? Like there's no movies. So it's like, I don't know what they're going to be playing. It's like, you know, Finding Nemo.
That's what
4.
I was going to say. Like Frozen 2, uncut version. You know, what else do we got out
Rocky.
there? Like Avengers, right? Avengers, uncut version. Everything's going to be uncut versions pretty much.
Yeah, director's cut.
Yeah. You know, so yeah, you're right. Like they've been holding off. You know, I'm a big comic nerd as well too. So they've been holding off on this Black Widow film I've been waiting on, just because of all of this. And I think they're talking about not bringing it out now until like the end, towards the end of the year. So
they did the same with James Bond. James Bond was supposed to be coming out in like April, I think.
Oh, great. I forgot about that. And that's the last one he's doing too.
I know. And then it's going, I think it's coming out in November. Yeah. So it's wild, man. I've like, again, imagine how much money that industry is just like flushed down the toilet.
I said, once the film industry and the sport industry gets back to a sense of normalcy, then I feel like there's hope for us. They're kind of like our big brothers, whether we like to admit it or not. You know, they're our big entertainer brothers. Yeah. So once the film industry and the sports industry comes back and their stadiums are rocking again, then I'll say, okay, cool. I think that movement might happen. You know what I mean?
I think it's time to open up some raves, some like small, tiny venues, like super underground. There was a few, maybe a month ago in the UK. It's so sad. In Manchester, someone held like an outside rave, and it was fucked. It was stupid. Shit. There was like 4,000 people there. I think one guy got stabbed and killed. And a fucking 18-year-old got raped, and you're just like, this isn't what we're doing it for. And you're just like, who the hell is running these? And you're just like, just stay the fuck in, and then leave it to the promoters that know what they're doing, and like keep people safe. But I think in maybe 6 months we're gonna see some like venues close down, which suck. But then I think it could go to like some old school shit and like find some like cool little warehouses that are just going to be popping up.
That's, you know how Chicago, we will
exactly.
I will survive. we'll be boogieing one way or another. I don't know about the rest of the planet, but we always have found a way, so to speak. You know, I remember that whole era. Okay, it was I remember two phases. I'm so old. Okay.
You are old as fuck. Let's put it out there. You don't look old as fuck, but you're old as fuck.
I am a vampire. Don't forget, I am a vampire, but I am very old.
Still look 21.
Right.
Ridiculous.
Right. So the first one I remember was when, you know, Little Lewis was king, Frankie Knuckles were in their prime.
Yeah.
And hip hop came. Okay.
Yeah.
Hip hop came, snatched, like, and this one parties were all black and gay. And it was like sprinkled a few few white people, a few of my white friends that I went to high school with, and a few Latinos. Only a few Latinos and a few white guys. The rest was, 3,000-4,000 black guys and gay people. It was cool. Still cool, but it was just a very pure time in the scene. And then hip hop came, okay? And it pretty much snatched the black community almost out of the scene altogether, because it's just more stuff that we can relate to, stuff we see every day. And also the majority of the industry is people that look like us. Yeah. So our community kind of ventured away from that. And, it's not really gay oriented as well. Yeah. So, a lot of our straight African-American community kind of just left house music and went to another thing. I remember that. That's the first one. The second one I remember was when vinyl, when CDs came out. Fucking right?
CDJs.
And vinyl kind of was like, shit. You had all these DJs that were like, shit, what am I going to do? I have to learn how to DJ again? Or what the fuck? Right? And so you had this curve of like people who like kind of left because they didn't really know how to make the transition from vinyl to a digital world. Okay, that was the second dip. Now, the third dip is this shit, like COVID. Now it's like, okay, nobody gets to DJ no matter what color you are. No music gets to play no matter what genre it is. Nobody gets to do shit. You know what I mean? Just sit around, figure it out, keep DJing, go virtual.
But you got DJs DJing it. You got DJs DJing in their kitchen and cooking the dishes and doing all of that.
Dude, I was clowning. Like, me and Sonny are like really good friends, like me and you. So I talk to Sonny a lot. He just said, shout out to Sonny for that. Just had a baby too. Congratulations.
Big up, Sonny. Did he? But, I didn't know he had another one.
Yeah, he just had another one. Hudson, man. I'm gonna text him, his little boy. But so I talked to him. He's like, just sets his shit up in his backyard, in his living room, in the kitchen, like, just let it rock it, baby. Wherever you can, And it's kind of right now where it's a healing thing. It's gone back to that, where you have to remember why you're doing this. Mm-hmm. When I was a little boy, and I first had this dream of becoming a DJ, I always say, I want to DJ and I want to be able to travel the world and I want to be able to make money off DJing because, I want to be able to do something that forever that I love to do.
Yeah.
Okay. And what you have to remember is that not the fact that you got the job and you're doing something that you love to do, but the fact that you asked to do something forever that you love to do.
Yeah.
Okay. You have to remember that in these times.
Yeah.
That you love this shit regardless. If the world just said, okay, breaking news, no more sporting events ever, no more movies ever, no more parties ever.
Yeah.
Guess what? Will Clarke is still going to be somewhere mixing some records.
Doing music.
So is Gene, making a track, mixing some records, because at the end of the day, we love to do this.
Yeah, 100%.
Passion.
Well, I think that's the thing. I think you hit the nail on the head at the end of the day. Like, and I've spoken about this many times on this podcast, and it's kind of weird that it always comes up, but it's that thing that people don't realize, like how long we did this without earning money. Like,
yes.
Like from day one, from when you were like, I want to be a DJ, I want to learn how to make house music or whatever music you want to make, whatever. We didn't earn money for fucking years. And
for years.
And I think I put a post out on Instagram. When all of this happened, it was like 2 days after coronavirus, when all the clubs got shut down. And I was like, look, we're all artists. We've all struggled for years and years to get to where we are. And some of us aren't where we want to be, and some of us are where we want to be. But it was a struggle. Nobody got success overnight. Not even the people that you think got success overnight. And we can struggle again for the next year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever it will take. You can struggle because we're so used to struggling to get to where we want to be, and we don't do
That's
it.
what I mean.
And we don't do it to earn money. Obviously, there is a business side of it, and we have to earn money to a certain extent. But all those years that you didn't earn money, you didn't wake up and be like, "I'm not going to do it because I'm not earning money." How many times did you play like for free?
Yeah, or just for, you know, I remember the drink tickets phase.
Fucking drink tickets.
In the beginning.
Drink tickets. I don't even drink.
Like I don't even drink either now, you know.
Exactly.
It's been 6 years now. But it's like in the beginning it would be like, okay, G, you come here, we'll give you, what would you guys call it, 100 quid. We give you $100 and we'll give you free drinks all night, and fucking, you know, sometimes the places will have pizza. We give you free food, we give you free drinks, and give you $100. You know what I mean? And,
it's so funny though,
know,
because I don't know if you ever like, I got this. I probably started realizing this maybe like 3 years ago when people were like, when club owners used to do that, and I'd sit back and be like, wait, they used to just give me like 6 drinks. I'm like, that's probably cost them like £6, not even that. And I've just entertained your whole club for a whole night, and then like you're just like, wait a minute, they're making so much fucking money off me.
I didn't figure it out until I threw my own party.
Exactly, yeah.
First time, I'm like, holy shit! You know what? I don't think I'm playing for nobody else for a long time. I'm just gonna keep doing my own fucking parties.
Yeah.
Like, this is when I was still doing illegal like warehouses in Chicago. Like, I would, you know, have like you said, a dirty warehouse. Obviously the decks would be my own. I would rent a sound system from a friend who had like sound. Get some lights from my buddy who did lights. We brought in all our own liquor. We brought in the nitrous tank. Yeah. And we fucking boogied. The party would start at like 11:30 at night and end at like 6 in the morning.
So cool.
And you know,
so who was around then when you started like becoming a little more successful in Chicago? Who was around like DJ wise?
Well, DJ wise, obviously, you know, my mentor and my best buddy is Curtis, Green Velvet. He put out my first record in '94. Do you
want me to make you feel really old?
Yeah, I'm scared to ask.
I was 4 then.
These are the kind of stories I hear. Like my wife, you know, not to sound like a dirty old man. You know, she's like, I was 2 when you put out your first fucking record, you old fucking cunt. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, yeah.
I feel
it's like
you.
that. It's crazy. But like, yeah, people who around them was like Curtis, you know, he's a rock star now. And he was a rock star then. You know, Percolator was out and he was already a massive star in '94. Massive. So, you know, shout out to him too for, you know, doing it all over again and even bigger the second time.
It's crazy, right? It's crazy. But I think the industry, I think now the industry's allowed him to get even bigger than what the industry used to allow you. Like the industry wasn't that commercialized, where even though I think he was signed to a major, right? He did like a major deal.
Yeah. Well, he had a few things. You know, Curtis has always been a visionary as well, too. Like he's, you know, I would imagine that, you know, him being highly as intelligent as he is, and considering he still has full rights to the Percolator, I'm sure he just did a small little licensing deal with the major and got that money right back and just put it out himself. But with that being said, you know,
so you were in '94.
He put out a lot of us, you know, at that time. Like when I brought in my first record to Relief, DJ Sneak was sitting right there in the chair and bringing him to his first record to Relief.
Is Sneak from Chicago?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I've known him since the first day I put out my first record. I've known Sneak since '94. We've toured the world together many times. All of us, you know, used to do Chicago tours and Relief tours together. So let's see, let me think, go on my time bubble. Back in the time when right after that, I started getting a little bit more popular. So I would say Green Velvet was around, Sneak was around, DJ Rush was around. He was massive then too.
DJ Rush.
Paul Johnson was around,
Yeah.
still around. All
Still
these guys
around,
I'm talking
man.
about, we're still hustling, man.
Yeah.
Jim and I was around. Spencer Kinsey, who's was a good mate of mine as well too. Mark Farina, Jared Carter, you know, the boys, the crew, man. You know, DJ Heather, she was like one of the first females really destroying the decks, around that time. Yeah. So, shout out to her too, as well too. And Psycho Bitch as well too, and Terry Bristol, some other really good big female DJs at the time, doing clubs in Chicago like Medusa's and Kaboom and all stuff like that back then. But yeah, man, I've definitely been around a little while. It's crazy. A lot of changes,
I was gonna go back to you when you mentioned about when obviously house was majority black and gay in the clubs, and then hip hop kind of took it over. Like,
absolutely.
What's your thoughts on how it turned from in the US majority a black kind of sound and a black kind of scene, I guess, to then a white, absolutely. To then it's pretty much a white scene in America. It's a white scene all around. It's Europe a white scene all over the planet, all over the place. What do you think that was? Was it? Yeah. What was it?
Well, I think my personal opinion is it's kind of like what I said. We kind of just I won't say let it go, but our interest in the music may have went down a bit due to the fact that hip hop became a lot more interesting and a lot more something that we could relate to. And I think that's a big thing. And also, I think that once London got his hands on it, because this is right after that, London kind of jumped on it. Changed the face of it completely.
Yeah.
And they also saw something in it, money behind it, right?
Yeah.
And it is you guys as hip hop. You understand what I mean? As far
totally.
As that, like every club, every bar, every radio station, every fucking interview, everything, BBC to everything you got big over there, commercialized in a taxi, in an Uber. It's all house music.
Yeah.
It's you guys' version of hip hop.
Yeah.
And we, for whatever reason, didn't see the value in it as it is today. We jumped ship on it, I guess, and kind of saw our value into promoting and putting hip hop forward.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, maybe because it wasn't predominantly promoted by a gay industry.
Yeah.
Or had gay tendencies, like you got to think. I'm going way back in the time,
like, of course.
Madonna's Vogue was out around then. Madonna had a Vogue song out then.
Yeah.
Like, this was a different time. So it's like it was really being promoted or looked at as a very homosexual industry.
Yeah,
which it is, which is fine.
It's great.
Which I think is great. Don't get me wrong. I grew up in it. Like, this is the first club I played at. Before I played at the Powerhouse, was a club called Augie's and CK's, which is a straight gay club.
Yeah.
So I and still to this day, I think I probably have more gay friends than I do straight friends.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I have, I have no problems with it at all. And this is coming from a straight black man from the south side of Chicago. But it's just one of those things that I think we just kind of didn't embrace it as much as England did. And when you guys embraced it, obviously you don't have a massive black community. You have black people in England. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to start, at Jamie Jones and fucking Mason Maynard and all my other boys get mad at me like, fuck you talking about, mate? Fuck you, mate. But, it's just a bit different. You know what I mean?
It's different cultures, man.
It's just a bit different.
It's very different cultures.
Completely different culture.
Like, I don't, whatever anyone says, I know we kind of speak the same language. But, you go to America and you go to England, and it's just worlds apart. Worlds apart. I live in both.
Totally different.
I live in both, and you obviously used to live in Amsterdam as well. And
for 4 years.
And even there is completely different culture to what UK is, and
it's even more different than you guys are to America. Like literally, when I moved back after 4 years coming back to America, 6'5" black guy from the hood, was afraid to go outside for like 4 months when I moved back to America. I was just like, after being in Europe for 4 years and living in that culture.
What's that about?
Part of that.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that, because I feel you on that to a certain extent.
But for me, you would think it wouldn't be, because I'm a black guy and I'm from the hood.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not like I'm not cultured in the ways of the ghetto, or I'm not, by nature.
Yeah.
If you threw me in by nature into the pool, I'm going to revert back to who I am, which is a Southside dude from Chicago.
We all do,
That's
right?
who I am.
We all do. Nature. We go back to. I come back to the UK and turn into a farmer boy. That's all it is.
And that's it. And it's it. And then by when I moved to Amsterdam, okay, I always tell everyone, at 21, I became an adult. When I moved to Europe, I became a man.
Yeah.
Okay. It's just the way you all roll over there is much more mature. The way you all handle things over there, and the way you on the day-to-day cultural normal society is a much more mature way of life, much more common sense way of thinking, so to speak.
Yeah.
And there are no guns. There's no firearms there. There's no guns. Yeah, you can get stabbed. And I know, from the UK, when I say that so nonchalantly, people are like, what the fuck does he mean? You could just get stabbed. Like, to us, that would be a luxury. You understand? If we only had to worry about getting stabbed, that would be cool. I can fucking ride with that.
Yeah.
So moving back home, to Chicago, was a trip. After being in Europe and in Amsterdam for 4 years, and I came back and like guns on the street, and my friends come to meet me and they pick me up and they got like a gun in the car, and I'm like, just my brain.
Yeah.
I was fucking freaked out for like the first 4 months. I just had to get back into American culture. And before I was back in the swing of everything, but it took a minute,
It's wild, man. Because for me,
like I said,
when I moved to America, the first city I moved to was LA, and of course, LA's just not.
That's easy. That's as close to Europe as you're gonna get, I think, because it's easy. It's kind of way more laid back,
Super laid back. Obviously, there's parts of LA that you just.
Or if you go to Compton, it ain't laid back.
It's
you
different.
go to Crenshaw, it's not laid back.
Yeah.
South Central ain't laid back. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, you can definitely find parts of California that's very Spanish,
very chill. Yeah, exactly.
It feels very Ibiza-ish.
And then I moved to New York, and I was in Brooklyn, in the most hipster. I was in Williamsburg, most hipster area. Like, I love New York, my favorite place, literally in the world to go. And then I moved to Detroit.
Awesome.
And Detroit
got real. It got real.
Detroit got real, man. And like, this is just my naivety, if you know what I mean. Like, I knew from going to Detroit for years, as much as I love that city, I know it's been through the ringer, if you know what I mean. It's not had the best times. Since the 60s, really. It's been up. It's
probably one of our hardest cities, hardest hit cities in the country. One of, absolutely.
Yeah. And like, I live in a house there, and then like I was coming back from camp out 2 years ago, and and my roommate, who's like also a techno producer, he sent me a text and was like, dude, check the cameras out at like 4 p.m. I was like, oh, what the fuck happened? And he was like, just go check them out. And I logged on and looked at the cameras, and this dude shooting up my next door neighbor's house. and you're just like, I'm just like, oh shit, I'm in America now. Like, and then that's when you find out all your friends that have guns. And you don't realize how many people you know have guns. And like, I told a few mates, and they're like, "Yo, dude, if you ever like," and just all your mates are like, "Oh, I've got a gun here. I've got a gun here." Like one of our close friends, Troy. Like he's always got guns around him, always, and it's normal.
Everybody,
it's normal, and for me coming from the UK. Even I live in the countryside here, like. Farmers have guns here. Like that's the only thing. They have shotguns and rifles to like kill pheasants and animals and go hunting and stuff like that. That's the only, like, you don't see handguns anywhere.
It's unbelievable here. Different world, man.
It's wild.
It's completely different
but
place.
It's never gonna. I don't think it's ever gonna change the whole gun thing.
No. It's like, I explain to my buddies on how it is in America and in Europe every time, and it cracks them up every time when I say it. And it's like, you have to understand the world, okay? Mm-hmm. Europe, you've been around forever. Yep. You think swords and shields and fucking rocks flying over the wall and boom and fucking, shit like that. America, you think of the Wild Wild West country. Motherfucker cowboy with the hat, and it's never gonna go. Guns are part of
culture,
of who we are, just as much as swords and knives, right, are part of who you guys are. Totally. It's never gonna, if a dude. I mean, the first thing a dude in America would do to fuck with somebody is to grab a gun.
Yeah,
I would imagine if a dude in the UK had a choice between an axe and a sword, or something like that. Somebody's gonna grab an axe or a sword before they grab a fucking gun, just out of natural culture. You understand what I mean? You gotta be like, just adjust what you're used to.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just part of, unfortunately, part of who we are as a society, on both fronts. I kind
of wish this is probably gonna be controversial to a certain extent. And I don't mean it in a horrible way, but I kind of wish people would just accept the gun culture in America to then move on and look at how to make it safer for people. Because majority of people's easy answer to everything is just stop guns, make them illegal. But that's never going to happen.
That's never going to happen because you have a group of, and people, when you peel back the layers of America and the layers of the world, okay, I don't want to get too deep, but most of the things that we hate in both of our countries, whatever it is, those are people who actually are running the country.
Yeah.
Financially.
Totally.
If you pull the NRA out, we probably go poor very quickly because they have billions and billions of dollars into this country. Right. They own football teams. They own basketball teams. They own hotels, they own land, they own states, and it's probably the same in the UK with a lot of things and a lot of people. And it's just the way the system is. Now, what we could do is try to get rid of illegal firearms, crack down on that harder. And there may be so many babies won't be dying.
Yeah, man.
So many kids won't be getting shot. And it's the same, over there. Like, it's so many kids getting stabbed and stuff there. You got to think, like, you have to start with the kids, okay? Because, of course, an adult my age or your age or most of our friends know, like, okay, of course you don't supposed to be stabbing anybody or shooting anybody. Duh.
Yeah.
Why can't people get that through their head? Because they're kids.
Yeah.
They're children. They don't understand the level of consequence yet.
It goes back to that education thing. It goes back to that education. And it's like it's, let's be honest, majority of these issues are happening in poorer neighborhoods. And
yes, absolutely.
What happens with poorer neighborhoods, you go from generation, and no one breaks that seal.
Cycle.
Like, there's a couple of reasons why I think that happens. First of all, is that they're not given the opportunity to break the cycle to a certain extent. And second of all, that there's just not necessarily the role models outside of the family to give people, and whether that role model is teachers, youth workers, police, if you know what I mean. I don't know I don't know how it is for you growing up in Southside, but
I was going to say again, I'm from these neighborhoods that you're talking about, and it's a few different factors. Okay, one, it makes me, not myself, but I'm obviously one of the people who kind of made it out of the hood and did okay for myself. There's a few of us like that. And it does have to do with a lot of things that you just spoke on.
Yeah.
But the most important thing is, I grew up with the father in the house.
Yeah. Totally.
I grew up with a mom in the house.
Yeah.
I grew up with the family in a home, and not from a broken home. That's where it has to start for my people. It has to start in the house. We need dads to be dads to their children, and moms to be moms to their children, and for people to try to have a family home if you can. That is very important for children, to have both their parents around. And if you don't have both your parents around, at least both of your parents involved in your life. Fully. Because that is what's taken a lot of our youth away, is that they don't have heroes under their roof.
Yeah.
My hero in my house, in my life, growing up, was my dad.
Yeah.
Okay. My dad, and this is from a guy who also, my father died 2 weeks before my 10th birthday. Okay. Yeah. My mom never remarried. She never had another man around me calling me, oh, this is your new daddy now, or but this is my boyfriend shit. You know what I mean? This new school shit. I'm like the youngest of 3 kids. My oldest brother is in his 60s. I'm raised old school, bro. You know what I mean? So it wasn't none of that pass the dochi to the next dick kind of shit where these new kids kind of have, with their home life.
Yeah.
I had one daddy. Even when he died, he was still a superhero to me.
Yeah.
My mother never talked shit about him. Even though as an adult, I found some cold-blooded shit out about my father, I found out some shit that my mother and my family was able to share with me when I was older. But growing up, I would have never known some of these things about my father because they never spoke ill about him.
Yeah.
My mother never said a bad word about my dad. She only said good things and how awesome he was and how a good person he was. These are things that I think are very important. Totally. You have to have a household.
Yeah.
You have to have a structure in your life, even if you're not educated and you're going to a bad school. If you can come home and still have a structured home, I believe that's very important, and not to mention education, I believe, which was very, very promoted in my home. Like I went to Catholic grammar school.
Yeah.
I went to a magnet school, and then after that, I went to Catholic school, which is basically, a public Catholic school, which is a magnet school. And then I went to a Methodist college for 2 years, and then heard my record on the radio and dropped the fuck out. Basically.
Yeah.
And my sister's a cop. My brother went to Morehouse, which is the same college Martin Luther King went to, and Spike Lee, and he's a doctor.
Yeah. That's amazing.
I was brought up in a very prominent home in the hood, though.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
This is what you got to mean. I wasn't brought up in the suburbs and this shit was happening, or I wasn't brought up in like Huxtables and shit.
Yeah.
Bill Cosby shit, and this was happening. I'm in the hood, like Boys in the Hood, like Ice Cube, the movie.
Yeah.
But we were prominent, raised by very respectful family who raised their children correctly. My mother worked for the government. My dad was a cop, had 4 jobs before he passed.
Yeah.
He had a master's degree. It's a black family, you know what I mean? He has a master's degree in science. My mother was a government worker. The stories you don't normally get to hear about
the hood.
My people and people from the hood.
Yeah.
Some people from the hood. We all aren't bad. We all aren't criminals. We all aren't robbers. We all aren't not knowing how to raise our kids.
That's the thing that I struggle with is the stereotyping. And I think I can probably only speak for myself, but I'm pretty sure I can speak for everyone. Everyone stereotypes to a certain extent, where
absolutely
no matter what color of skin you are, where you're from, what language you speak, we all stereotype. But
sure,
I think it's just that constant stereotyping of the hood, where it's almost like people have to live up to the stereotype. And
to an extent, some of it is true.
Yeah.
Okay, you do have bad people in the hood,
of course, but you have bad people everywhere. And I think this is the thing is like, of course you have bad people, and we have bad people running our countries, right? We have bad people securing our countries. Like, I think that's the thing is, it's very easy to say we have bad people, but we have bad people everywhere. But the thing is, there's bad people that have a lot of opportunity around them, and there's bad people that have zero opportunity and have nothing to live for.
True.
And when you have nothing to live for, like, let's say, for instance, let's go to, I was talking about this the other day, let's go to South Africa, if you know what I mean. And I was in Alexandra, in Johannesburg, just before Christmas. These people have nothing to live for, like, to the extent where they don't even have running water. And you're just like,
absolutely.
And it's
some places like that in Detroit in the hood, though. You know that, though.
I know that, man.
It's the same.
It's the same. And you go to Flint, if you know what I mean. They don't.
That's exactly.
It's just ridiculous. But the thing, I don't really know where I'm going to this, but I think the thing is, I was naive years ago when I hadn't experienced Detroit, if you know what I mean. I hadn't experienced America, how it is, because in the UK, yes, we have extremely poor neighborhoods, and we have this. We do have bad, unsafe neighborhoods and things like that.
Absolutely.
But it's nothing like it is in America, man.
It's different. It's a different.
So different, and I think like going back to that role model. Like needing role models in your life and having a good home. Like, I've been so lucky. My parents are the fucking best, if you know what I mean. I've had the best upbringing ever, and it's allowed me to become who I am today. But how do you I don't know, but how do you get that across to people? So like people in the poorer neighborhoods, how do you change that? Like, where is that? Because, like you said, a lot of that is insular, if you know what I mean. We have to choose. We have to make a choice to change that. So, like, okay, I'm having a kid. I'm going to make sure that kid has the best life it possibly can. Obviously, you've got a little one right now. Like, I can pretty much guarantee, because you had a great upbringing, you want to give your boy the best upbringing ever.
Absolutely. You know, it's like, you know, how can I say it? Just try to make sense of it all. Hope is something that you can't sell.
Yeah.
Okay. Hope is something that somebody has to believe in themselves. You have to be an individual, and you have to commit to believing that you have hope.
Yeah.
Right? So I could have, you know, I went through a thing when I was, you know, I'm just telling you only the good shit right now. Like, I went through some shit when I was a teenager. I was gangbanging. I had guns. You know, I got locked. I haven't been, you know, I don't have a federal crime, but I've been to jail.
Yeah.
I had to go to court for having 2 guns on me. You know, I wasn't, you know, I got arrested for mob action. You know, I've been through some shit myself, being from the hood.
Yeah.
But with all that being said, I could have went down that road, but I took it upon myself
to
believe and have hope.
Yeah.
Okay. And I also had something to believe in.
Yeah.
Which was this right here, which was house music. A lot of people don't have outlets. They don't have music. They don't have sports. They don't have higher education where they know they're smart as hell. You know, some smart people that love love reading books as much as we love to play music.
I never understand those people. I know people. Yeah.
Nerds, we called it nerds. But it's like, everyone doesn't have something to be hopeful for. RIP, like my friend Richard, I grew up, he was my high school buddy.
Yeah.
Best friends. We had the same fucking jackets and shit like that kind of shit growing up. He ended up, I was DJing the whole time. We were like 18, 19 years old. I went away to college. He stayed, obviously. Ended up having kids young. Got depressed one day, shot himself in the head, killed himself.
Yeah.
No hope. He had nothing. He was working at McDonald's. No really vision of hope. Nothing to see, to be hopeful for, to believe that some kind of way you're going to be able to get out of this hood. You're going to be able to get out of this neighborhood. You're going to be able to find yourself a way to make a better world for yourself and your family. If hope, again, is something you can't sell, you have to believe into it yourself. You have to find something that you can be hopeful for. And that's the problem.
I think the thing is, I hear what you're saying, and part of me is agreeing with you. And part of me isn't disagreeing with you, but I truly believe that with the right upbringing and opportunities around you, you can create hope.
Absolutely. That's what happened to me.
Yeah.
If you have heroes in your home, you have heroes that you see on TV too, that you dream about. Michael Jordan. I thought I was going to be, I went to school in North Carolina.
Yeah.
I played basketball all the way through high school. Played 2 years in college. Went to school at a small school in North Carolina. Every year I wore Jordans. I grew up idolizing him as well as my dad, as well as looking up to my brother. He went to Morehouse, and people around, Frankie Knuckles.
Yeah.
Little Lewis was my hero.
Yeah.
Kraftwerk. I didn't even, being from Chicago, you got to understand too, I didn't know those dudes were German.
Yeah.
When I first heard this record, we didn't.
Yeah, what the fuck is this?
I didn't know those were German dudes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And nor did I know, I knew we went to war with Germany. I knew about Hitler, I started DJing, I was 11, okay? Yeah. I started, first time I ever DJed, I was 10.
Yeah.
So I knew about, Hitler, Nazis, whatever. We make fun of them on TV, but I didn't know the depth of it. I'm an 11-year-old kid buying a Kraftwerk album, and trying to spin records in my house. So I didn't know those dudes were from Germany, nor did I give a fuck, if you understand my point. So it was like I had my own heroes and my own music. Like Little Lewis was my hero. And if I really wanted to dream big, then it was Michael Jordan when I was playing basketball, against my friends, because I was better than my friends, but I wasn't better than the dudes in college, So you find your hope and you find your heroes, but first you have to find something that you're passionate about, man.
Yeah.
It's positive, right? Everything I just named from you was a positive passion for music. Yeah. So I found Frankie. I found Ron Hardy was my hero. Little Lewis was my hero.
Yeah.
In basketball, I found Michael Jordan, Dominique Wilkins. I was the only black guy who thought Larry Bird was cool. You know what I mean? Like, and that's because we wore the same colors. Like, I had green and white in my grade school uniform, and Celtics wore green and white. Yeah. So I'm like, shit, Larry Bird's fucking awesome. It's just one of those things where everyone doesn't have these things of hope.
Yeah.
To find.
How lucky
everyone isn't.
How lucky are we, man? We're so lucky.
Blessed, man.
We're so lucky
Blessed.
because, like,
Blessed.
I guess you're right. You're 100% right. Like, I've got friends that just still don't have a clue what they're doing with their lives, and have no passion and have no get up and go. They're just lucky that they were brought up in a nice neighborhood. So, right.
And I got some that are the opposite.
Yeah.
Where it's not a pretty picture when I go, you know, because again, my studio, I still hood pass. My studio's still in the hood.
Still in the hood.
It's still in the building I grew up in. We own the building.
Yeah.
You know, we own the building. My mom's still there. So I still go back to the hood 3-4 times a week, man.
Yeah.
And I see my friends and I see my mates, and I'm like, you know, some of them haven't changed. You know, they're drinking heavily and, you know, just kind of in a bad way. Some of them have. Some of them, they still live in the hood, but they own a place, or they bought their mom's old house and they own the house. They have their family there now.
Yeah.
They have a nice job. Every story isn't horrible, but
no, of course,
the ones that are
rough.
The ones that are bad are fucking really bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's really, really bad and depressing, you know?
Sucks,
but
man.
It
sucks.
I do have. I got a lot of white friends too, though, Will. You know?
I think this is the thing for me, and you might be able to tell me, like, because being a black guy, but for me, I've never, like, especially in this industry, I've never been like white or black or brown or whatever color skin you are. It's for me, it's never been something that I would ever even think of as an issue. Do you think it is?
Well, I will say this, Will. I wouldn't say you in particular, like you, Will, would be crazy to think that it's not. But in general, you would be crazy to think that it's not. Because it's as simple as this, because it's racism everywhere.
Of course, man. Yeah, of course.
It's racism in everything else, in every sport, in every fucking food industry, in the police industry, in every fucking industry that exists on this planet. It's racism. So why would you think it's not in ours as well?
Yeah.
As beautiful as it is, don't get me wrong, it's probably the least amount. And the reason you wouldn't think of it, because you're an artist, right? You're one of us.
Yeah, exactly.
All your heroes mostly are probably black guys because
of course.
you grew up listening to this music,
Frankie
right?
Knuckles. Frankie Knuckles is literally...
So of course, you wouldn't ever think that way. But you have to think that it's bigger than us. We don't own the clubs.
No.
We're not the promoters who bring us out to these parties. Okay, most of these promoters who bring us out to these parties weren't, they didn't grow up, you know, not my generation of first generation promoters. Okay, I can even go back to first, second generation promoters. Yes, they grew up just like us, heroes of Frankie Knuckles, heroes of the music, heroes of Ron Hardy, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I would even go further. Chicago, Detroit, LA, New York, we're kind of exceptions to the rules for a few reasons. One, we're blue states.
Yeah.
Okay. We're liberal as fuck.
Yeah.
Okay. We've denounced racism since fucking slavery has the slaves came up from the South and moved up north. Okay. That's how I got here, is because my great-great-great-great-grandmother moved from Mississippi and moved to Chicago.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the you know, those states, we are very much against racism.
Yeah.
So the promoters in those states, these are the states that have founded the music.
Yeah.
Okay. So the promoters in Chicago are very educated. The promoters in Detroit are very educated on the music.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. All of us we're just talking about the music.
Yeah.
The promoters in New York are very educated on the music.
Yeah.
Most of the promoters in LA are very educated on the music, in San Francisco as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So excluding those areas, okay. Yes, there's definitely some racial tones, I would say, for sure, in the scene. Now, for me, Curtis, MK, Kevin Saunderson, you the upper tier black guys, I guess, we don't feel it as much as maybe some of the lower tier black guys that I speak to do.
Yeah.
But I do, how can I say this without like, offending people and making them think that I'm like,
just say it,
Malcolm
dude.
X and shit.
Just say it, dude, because
I
think people need to hear it. I think that's the thing is you got to talk about how you feel. You can't just hide feelings.
No, not at all. Not at all. You're right. Well, I think it's a bit different. Okay. I think it's like, we're not necessarily being directly racial things happening.
Yeah.
Okay. Not necessarily knowingly, not thinking about it knowingly. Okay. But what is happening is a ceiling. Okay. A black ceiling where, okay, you're only allowed to get this far.
Yeah.
You're never going to be, without calling out names or making somebody feel isolated because they're awesome. But you know what I mean? Like, we're never going to be a Fisher or a Diplo or a, what have you. I'm not dissing these people because fuck, they're my friends at the end of the day.
No,
but I'm just saying.
No one's dissing anyone. It's just
I'm not dissing them or discrediting the work that they put in to get to where they are. I'm not doing that either.
Yeah.
Because these dudes do put in work to get to where they are.
Yeah.
And they have put in work to get to be as awesome as they are. I'm not discrediting that.
Yeah.
But I will say that if some of us, Green Velvet, Gene Farris, were white, with the amount of music that we've put out.
Yeah.
And I would say that we would probably be at a higher tier of living.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the nicest way I could say it without sounding really fucked up. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that it's Fisher's fault. I'm not saying that it's Diplo's fault. I'm not saying that it's Daft Punk's fault. I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just saying that that's the fact of the matter, that if Paul Johnson was a white guy with his story, being in a wheelchair, making Get Down, putting all these records out and doing what he did, he would be on Ellen DeGeneres telling his story.
Yeah.
So
okay. So this is where I kind of just need to just ask you really, like, where in the industry does that come from? Because
I don't know.
Because I think
we go back
this
to
is
the beginning of this conversation that me and you had and how this story started.
Right.
Okay. We talk about that it used to be all black.
Yeah.
Okay. And then it was abducted by the UK.
Yeah.
It was we kind of dropped the ball on it. And then it's become predominantly a white industry.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not. Oh shit, did I just lose you? Okay,
no,
I know you're
good.
there. Sorry, I just lost the picture. I'm not. Again, this just makes me sound like I'm fucking Malcolm X.
No, it really doesn't, man. I'll tell you as a mate.
I'm not
I'll tell
dissing anybody. Yeah. I'm just telling the truth.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not making up stories. I'm not.
No, not at all.
I'm telling you from my perspective of how I saw how it go down, and that's in my perspective. That's exactly the way things just kind of went down.
Yeah,
and in my perspective, that's kind of the way the industry is right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of a trip the fuck out. When you look at a lot of these festivals, like, Charlotte the Wit,
the
Media Lens, and so on and so on, they all come to America, right? And they get their arms open wide.
I know what you're going to say.
Treated like
I know what you're going to say.
Gods.
Yeah.
And I'm talking of like in Detroit, bro. This is like the blackest fucking state there is. Like they get treated open arms. Okay. But there's not this isn't being reciprocated.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't see Europe doing that to us.
No.
We open our arms up to Europe time and time again, Chicago as well. You see it.
Yeah.
Like, Fisher to everyone has played Chicago and get the royal red carpet treated, thrown out. And, they in Chicago's right.
Oh,
hold on. I got to decline that call. My manager was just trying to call me. He can wait.
He can wait.
And in Chicago's defense, they treat us locals who've earned this respect, like myself and Cash and Boo Williams and Paul Johnson. They treat us good.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying Europe. Okay. They don't really reciprocate the love that we give to you guys, if you understand what I mean. Only a few of us. Like, I don't play in Europe that much.
Neither do I.
But not that much. Yeah, no, neither. You want, as far as I'm concerned, Will, you're an American. Goddammit. Yeah. You playing with me everywhere. You play on the circuit that we play on.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I don't play in Europe. Like,
I think this is the
thing. Play in Europe a bit, but not like okay. Like, I play with you in America, but at the same time, I play with MK in America. At the same time, I play on the Charlotte DeWitt roster in America. I play with Amelia Lenz. I play with Carl Cox when he's here. I play with all of my European buddies who's killing it on the Mason Maynard, Solardo, Detlef and Latman. You know what I mean? All of my boys, right? But, and I'm not blaming them. Like, they're not fucking promoters. They don't fucking run fucking these clubs, but I'm just saying that something is being lost, if you understand what I mean. I
hear you, and I've never even thought about this as a European issue.
Right. I don't know if it's Europe that's like got the keys to the city and they're like, you know what? We're not inviting any, mostly, I don't want to say it, of course, Green Velvet gets to go over. He's Green Velvet. He's green. It's not black. It's fucking green.
I think for me in Europe, is, I don't know. It's a wild thing for me, where to the extent where I even struggle to get booked in my hometown in Europe, if you know what I mean, in the UK.
Yeah.
I can't. And I think one of my old agents used to book Kerry Chandler. And Kerry would play Europe. He practically used to live here, if you know what I mean, the amount he was playing over here. And maybe this goes back to what you were saying from the beginning of Chicago. People in Europe knew where the scene came from. And
absolutely.
And they respected where the scene came from and respected the people that came from the scene and that created the scene.
Right.
I just think we've probably lost a lot of that now.
Absolutely.
And
or Will, not to cut you off, but to kind of add on to that, or that's the only people they want from America. They only want the legends. You understand what I mean? They don't
100%.
Like
100%.
Like, we don't just, like, when you come to America, we don't just say, okay, we only want Carl Cox. We only want Pete Tong. We only want the legends, and the rest of you, the Masons, the Solardos, the new guys, Camel Fats, can go fuck off.
Yeah.
If that's kind of what Europe has done, but in reverse, if you understand what I mean. And they're like, okay.
But then again, let's flip it, and I'm just playing devil's advocate, okay?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna get shit for this, but this is coming from the kindest of my heart. Let's flip it to hip hop.
Okay.
The likelihood of our UK rappers being booked in America
are slim.
Very slim. And where does that come from? And
the difference is
first of all,
no one is two things.
No one understands what the fuck we're saying. That the UK rappers, no one understands.
I was gonna say it's two different things right there. Okay, I'm gonna tell you the problem with that. Okay, and how that's more acceptable than us. And I'm gonna tell you why. One, house music is an American culture.
100%.
Hip hop is an American culture.
Yeah.
Okay. So for us to not bring UK DJs to America, when that's an American culture,
yeah,
is a lot more acceptable than Europe not bringing American DJs to play American cultured music in Europe.
yeah. No, dude, I'm not disagreeing with you. I think it just also
say, that's
I think it just also goes back from what we were saying at the beginning, is like Europe took the culture from America, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, we dropped the ball on it.
We
dropped the ball on it.
Which
totally.
then kind of like, dude, we all agree. We'll all agree, and I'm just playing devil's advocate, really. And I've never looked at it as a European issue, and because I very rarely play in Europe, I've never looked at it like, why is G not playing here, or why is all of this people? Because again, I don't look at it as a racial thing. Maybe I should, if you know what I mean, because it's just something that has never really came to me, and I've never really thought about it when it comes to being booked, because I can't even fucking get booked. So it's kind of that weird thing. But I guess you're right.
In the beginning, when I used to come to Europe and DJ, I'm talking in the 90s. And this is when I used to play in Europe. That's how long I played there. I still play every once in a while, but not as much as I used to. But that hopefully will change. But it was a thing where we have this American guy coming over, playing American, a new American culture, which is house music. Now it's almost like, fuck off.
It's ours.
It's ours.
Yeah.
It's fucking ours. Fuck off. If you come over here, you get to come. That's just that. And maybe, it's just a completely different thing. It's gone. The monkeys have completely taken over the zoo, so to speak, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
And that's fine. It took me a while to not be bitter about that whole thing. Because now we got America, and I seen here,
it's crazy.
It's not a pushover scene anymore.
Not anymore.
It's a fucking solid scene rolling here now. We got a lot of places to party here, especially when you spill in Canada and Mexico, because I play a lot in those places too.
Yeah.
So it's a lot going on over here, as well as South America. But, it's still one of those things that, I'm not dissing Europe, like I said, and waggling my Chicago finger at them like this. I'm not doing that. I'm just speaking from what the fuck it is and the facts that are on the table right here in front of us.
Yeah.
We bring you guys. We bring everyone from the UK to Chicago, or to America in general.
Yeah.
Everyone from Spain as well too, from Dennis Cruz on down the line.
Yeah.
But and the reason that a lot of those guys are globally big is because we've opened our eyes up to them, or they would just be big in Europe.
Well, I think the thing is that, and tell me,
whereas you don't have that here. You know what I mean? You have guys in America, myself included. We're massive in the States.
Yeah.
Okay, massive in Canada. But we don't got any love in Europe. Why? Is because the circle is not being turned fairly both ways. Solardo and these guys and all these dudes are massive in America, they're not massive in America because they're massive in Europe.
See, I don't know. This is where I disagree with you. Yeah.
No. They're massive in America because they play in America. That's the difference.
They do the time in America. Everyone has to do their time in America.
Play at all the dope spots.
But
I'm not massive in Europe because I'm massive in. I mean, I don't. And if I am right, and if you are right that they're massive in America because they're massive in Europe, then that's also another problem that definitely needs to be addressed. Well, explaining that the circle is still not being complete.
It's not
because why am I not massive in Europe then?
Yeah, no, I totally agree, because this is the argument that I have, and I think the world looks at the UK at or UK and Germany mostly, or UK, Netherlands, Germany.
UK.
I think
UK by far is the dictator of the world, of this scene.
Yeah, and I think
hot, Who's not?
And I think there's like, for me, obviously, the reason why I'm big in America, it started with Dirty Bird for me. Dirty Bird used to be huge in Europe. That's how I found them.
Yeah.
They used to be massive, if you know what I mean. They're probably
huge in America.
They were probably the biggest label in Europe at one time. Okay.
Wow.
Then they weren't, if you know what I mean. Then Hot Creations came along, and Hot Creations kind of massively swept up. And other labels, Drum Code, things like that.
Defected as well.
Defected have always been big. But the thing that I like about Defected is that they've always brought the American side of the house to Europe. They've always done that. I don't necessarily, in politics, I don't necessarily like
the purist side. They definitely brought the American purist side of the house, for sure. For sure.
But for me, like, I can, just like you, we can both sell extremely large numbers of tickets in America, right?
Right.
But can't here in Europe. Chris Lake, right? Let's say, for instance, Chris is English, all right? I can guarantee you he sells 3, 4, 5 times the amount he sells in America than he does in the UK.
Absolutely.
And Fisher, we can't even talk about Fish. Fish is just literally another kettle of fish.
Everywhere.
Right? It's just everywhere. He's like Macioplex.
Tiger Shark.
Like
Tiger Shark.
You can't put them in comparison. And I think I remember shows when, I don't want to say names because they're all of our mates, but I remember shows where they've people that are huge in the UK and they've got booked because of they're huge in the UK and Europe. They come over and no one has a fucking clue who they are. And
so crazy.
And I think the thing is, and I could be wrong. This is just, we're both talking our views. And I think promoters look so much on how UK and Europe is running things. Ibiza, how big Ibiza is, right? For the whole of our dance scene, for the whole of our scene. You see people smashing Ibiza every weekend during the summer. And let's be honest, a lot of the promoters nowadays are younger than me, a lot of them.
Absolutely, you know they're babies,
and so what are they looking at? They're looking at social media and they're looking at who's killing it. They look at Beatport. And let's be honest, it's fucking bullshit. It's all bullshit at the end of the day. It's all fake shit. But does that, and this is the thing that I struggle with, because I totally agree there's racism. 100%.
Sure.
And I can't, but does that mean, does that mean make it racist? I don't know, dude. Like, this is why I'm asking you.
I think, again, the abduction thing, this is where it all started from, you know, if America was giving the same amount, if the circle was being reciprocated, okay, then and European promoters were going out of their way, like American promoters are, and gambling to take chances on bringing American artists to blow them up in their country, essentially, right? Which is what we've done with a lot of European artists. If they took a chance and did some stuff like that, then I think things would change. But in Europe, and in America, you know, we're to that point now. People don't want to take chances. They want to make money.
You hit the nail on the head. You hit the nail on the head. As well. No, like, and this is the thing that I respect America so much for. And I can't thank anyone enough. Like, there's promoters that have taken a risk on me and lost money on me in America.
Yeah.
And they will keep pushing and building a culture where I find here, even like friends of ours, like we all know that Run Nights, they're like, yeah, he's not ready to play yet. It's not ready.
Got to build it up.
Got to build it up. Got to be a little bit bigger, or got to do this, got to do that. And don't get me wrong, it's business. I respect that, and whatever your choice is, your choice. I'm going to do it no matter fucking what. I don't need you. But I think that is one of the things as well, is that people just aren't willing to take risks because there's so much on the line. There's so much on the line. And I think because our culture is so strong here, because we have so many artists from here that sell crazy amount of tickets very easily, it's just an easy option for promoters to be like, fuck it, we just book this dude from down the road.
Yeah, why book Gene Farris? We can book Biscuits.
Yeah.
He can take the train, come up, know it's going to sell out. It's going to be good.
It's the same for me. It's like most people thought I was American because I was so heavily in the Dirty Bird crew. I've had people, I've had people from England that are like, wait, what the fuck? You're English?
And well, when I first met you, I thought you were from the States until we started talking. I'm like, oh shit! I'm like, Will's from the UK. That's fucking dope.
And I think you're right. And it's sad, man. It's really sad because I was brought up, like my teen years. I lived in Ibiza for 4 summers, and I worked at We Love Sundays, and they had some of the best lineups in the world, man. Some of the best. From like Disclosure when Disclosure wasn't Disclosure, Grace Jones, like Carl Craig, Chemical Brothers, Claude, like everyone from the smallest to the biggest artists from every culture, from every neck of the world. And I think
this is what I mean. Like, there's a void in the scene.
Yeah.
If you look at Ibiza, okay, and you look at the world, America's missing the party.
Yeah.
If you look at all these lineups, okay, you got tons of people from the UK on all these lineups. You got tons of people from France, tons of people from Germany. You even got South Africa kind of representing now with Black Coffee and his crew kind of coming through.
Yeah.
And you get Americans sporadically.
Yeah. No, I agree.
We're not really in it like we used to be. And it's like we're getting left from the party. And it's not because we're not doing the work. It's not because we're not still making the music or have our own scene, but for some reason, it's just not, the love's not being given back in return that we give the world, man, as far as I see.
Dude, I see that. I do totally agree with that. I do totally agree with that because let's say, for instance, my roommate, he's a crazy techno producer, like hard Berlin techno kind of.
Sure, yeah.
He can fucking barely get booked. But he's playing in Trésor in Berlin, and he's playing in Israel, and he's playing in all these other places. Can't fucking get booked in America. But his sound is so European. So European. And how can we change this?
I don't know. Promoters have to be willing to do what promoters in America. First of all, everything in America done isn't stupid or bad. We've actually done a few things that are pretty innovative and cool.
Yeah.
And one of them was taking a chance on European DJs long ago.
Yeah.
Okay, we've been doing this for a long time. So our scene, yes, there's more people to go out in the UK. Yes, there's more people to go out in Ibiza. But what's cool about our scene in America that's different than everyone else's is that we have everything.
Yeah.
We get people from Europe to come. We get people from UK to come. We got Americans here. Yeah. We got Canadians that play. Yeah. We got Mexicans that play. We got people from South America that play all over the Japanese, Chinese, well, maybe not China, but Japanese, Chinese, maybe Chinese Americans, okay? We got a lot of Asian Americans for sure, but not actual, considering what's going on right now. But the point is we have what we are here from all over the world. We have a melting pot of a scene.
Yeah.
Whereas Europe scene is kind of just that. It's a UK European scene. That's it.
Yeah.
There's not really many Americans involved, unless it's like, a couple, one a month in August or maybe one in July.
Yeah.
There's no fucking Canadians involved. Forget that. It's like they don't even exist.
Well, Canadians. Tiga.
Yeah,
Tiga, that's the only one. Tiga.
That's it. That's it. That's just what I was about to say. Tiga. That's it. And Mexico, come on. Like, y'all, they definitely not no Mexico scene. Maybe in Ibiza that I don't know about. It's probably a scene there. But for the most part, it's like the circle's not, and I don't know if it's race. Okay. I will say that everyone that kind of plays in Europe, outside of Cox, Jamie Jones,
and MK and
MK.
Yeah, I
mean, they kind of
they're all white.
Black. They're just kind of not black. Not Asian.
Yeah.
And not really Hispanic mostly either. So I'll just say that, but we have to figure out a way to reciprocate the circle.
What's your thoughts on I agree. I agree, man. And what's your thoughts on okay, so let's flip that a little bit and let's talk about like US festivals, right? And we all know the big festivals.
Sure.
How do you feel when you're not on the lineups? You're bigger in these territories than a lot of the artists on these lineups, but because they're big in Europe, they're coming over and being bigger on these lineups.
That is the biggest kick in the nuts of them all. Okay.
It's the worst, and again,
man. it sucks, Will. It does. It's really bad, to be honest with you. And not to say any names, but I played with a lot of these dudes, and toe to toe,
I agree, man.
They don't stand a shot.
I agree.
And what even makes it worse is they know it.
Yeah.
Right? So it puts them in an awkward position, like, fuck, especially if it's a lineup where, like, I'm playing right before somebody who's allegedly the headliner really big, and they already know what's happening right now. And they're like, shit, why is Gene playing before me? Or, it's just, again, bro, it's not the homie's fault.
No, not at all. Not at all.
It's not the homie's fault. It's the promoter's fault buying into the European system.
Yeah. Dude, I've had it a few times. Like, and this is when I class myself as an American. Well, I don't, but I tour more in America, as you know. Like
you're one of us, whether you like it or not.
I've had.
I told you, I just thought you were still in Michigan the whole time until you told me you were back.
You did, didn't you? Like I've had it a couple of years ago, and without saying names and where it was, but there was artists coming over from the UK that were huge in the UK, and they weren't selling tickets, and they put me on the lineup to sell tickets, and they sold out. And then it's like
same,
and it's like and it's like, oh, we'll give you this much money because you're doing us a favor, and it's like, well, no, this isn't how this works. And I don't get me wrong, I'm blessed, I'm lucky, man. I think the thing is that people need to put value on themselves, but also, and this is what I've learned as an artist, and I don't know if you have, when things like that started happening, it was when I was with my previous management, and they would just haul me out for fucking anything so they can make their money.
Absolutely.
And now, like, my manager won't put me out for fucking nothing. And I won't go out for fucking nothing.
You have to have the right team, man.
Yeah.
You have to have a good team with you.
Totally.
And you have to believe in yourself.
That's the thing. That's the thing. It's knowing, and I think that's the frustrating thing about the whole Europe and other things like that. You're good, right? You're fucking amazing. Your records slam. But why is no one else thinking that?
Exposure, right?
Yeah.
It's about awareness. If, Space Girl.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk Space Girl, the song I just put out on Dirty Bird.
Yeah.
If, no one knew if they weren't aware of who I was at all, as a producer and I just put out this fucking slamming track.
Yeah.
Right. No one, it wouldn't chart. It wouldn't do anything. I mean, let's just think about, let's talk Beatport. Okay. Let's talk Beatport shopping.
Right.
Okay.
Before we do this,
okay.
I need to go to the toilet. So give me 2 seconds. I'm just going to take
I kind of got to go in a second. I got to get off. I got to kind of run them in because I got to move the car and I got to go make some errand runs.
Okay,
go ahead, go pee.
Carry on with Beatport. I'm going to hold it in and then we can wrap it up.
Real quick,
go for it.
Because I got to leave it a little bit too.
You just carry on. Yeah.
Beatport. Okay. Think about if you shop like I shop. Okay. I do look at the top 10. Sometimes I'm very hopeful that I'm in there. Or some of my mates, you know what I mean? Some of my mates, of my boys, just so I can support their shit. Yeah. No doubt. Okay, but outside of that top 10, okay, when you're shopping, most of the things that I buy, okay, that I don't have on promo, that I just go out and buy because I don't have it on promo, are things that they're not in the charts.
Yeah.
Right? They're from artists that I know who they are.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm a fan of the shit that they put out, but most people don't know who they are.
Yeah.
Right? So they're basically the Gene Farris's and Will Clark's, but people that they don't know. You understand what I mean? So it's exposure.
Yeah.
It's awareness. It's for people to find you. If I didn't have a huge, because my production fan base, ironically, is a lot different than my DJ fan base.
Yeah.
It's probably the same with you as well.
Yeah.
So if, people didn't know who I was, Space Girl would have just been on the fucking shelf. It wouldn't have charted, wouldn't have done shit. So it's just a matter of people being aware of us, being able to be exposed to us.
Yeah.
And a lot of that doesn't mean you have to whore yourself out and just play fucking, any and everything that you get across your desk.
Yeah.
In fact, quality control is the most important thing in all of this.
Saying no is key, man.
Yeah, man. But at the same time, you have to, it's not all of our managers' responsibility. It's not all of our booking agents' responsibility. It's also our responsibility to market ourselves and take the initiative to brand yourself and the initiative to do things to expose people to your sound.
Who you are, yeah.
I have a lot of introverts friends, as we all do in this industry, who are almost anti that.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't want to promote my name. I'm not going to do this. It's like, then don't be mad if you're not getting booked.
Yep, totally.
Because you have to take the responsibility as well. It's not all on your agent. It's not all on your manager. You have to do something too,
Well, it's a business at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
It's a business. If you open a pizza shop and tell nobody about it, and you're in the corner
Can't
of fucking
be mad
nowhere.
If you fucking got nobody eating your delicious pizza.
Exactly. It could be the best pizza in the world. We all know those producers that are insane producers, are fucking amazing DJs, and then they don't want to promote themselves. So they're never going to be good. They're
Absolutely.
not be good, but they're never going to be successful.
No.
Yeah.
They're never going to be known on a massive scale. And at the end of the day, that's kind of, at the end of the day, everybody doesn't want that. But at the end of the day, if you're trying to move forward in this business, you do want that.
Totally.
You want everybody to know, at least love me or hate me, but I want you to at least know me, who I am. Like Donald Trump. Everybody hates the motherfucker. But we all know that son of a bitch, don't we?
Yeah.
Don't we?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things where it's like, love me or hate me, I just want you to at least be able to have the chance to experience me.
Totally. Dude, I totally agree, man. And I think that's a great way to end.
Yeah, man. Do your thing. Go potty.
It's been a good conversation, man. It's been a good conversation.
I know, man. We haven't spoken in a while, and I miss you, man.
I miss you too. Before we go, how can people follow you on Instagram and all of Twitter and all of that? What's the handles? And let's talk about your label as well.
In case you all didn't know, Farris Recordings is my label. This is one of my t-shirts right here. We also have merchandise. merchandise.
Go buy it, people. Go buy it.
Yes. You can follow me at Gene Farris, GeneFarris. That's how you spell my last name, not E. At Instagram, also on Facebook, same. For my record label is Farris Real Recordings, is FA with an A. On Instagram is the link to our merch and all our new music as well too. The label's doing really well. You've probably seen a lot of our stuff out there right now. And that's about it, really, man. That's about it.
It's dope, man. See you soon.
You will.
Hopefully very soon. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know when I'm going to be back, but as soon as I'm back, let's hang out.
We definitely will, man. We definitely will, and you will be back soon. America, I'm sure we'll be on in a fuck all situation until probably November.
Yeah, I agree.
I say Thanksgiving, we're going to be till fuck all.
Yeah.
But you all will probably be out of the darkness before we will over there, to be honest.
Hopefully, I'm keeping my fingers crossed, man. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. And if we are, I'm going to start a party and you're fucking coming to play.
Yeah, we do a Will Clarke, Gene Farris fucking party in the UK and start our own fucking invasion, man.
Dude, I think this is the only way. I think it's the only way to change it. The more and more I'm thinking of it is the only way I think we're going to change it is by people that really give a fuck about it is going to take risks.
That's it, and doing it ourselves. They're lucky I don't live in the UK. I would do it. You know I would. Gene Farris and friends would be running some shit over there.
Everywhere. I'm going to do it. Watch this space, baby.
Let's do it. I'm there.
Keep safe, man. Look after yourself.
Yep. You too, man. Love you, buddy.
Love you, dude. Love you.
Peace.
So that is a wrap. I absolutely loved that conversation. It was good. It was real. It was proper raw. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. If you could go share this with everyone, I think a lot of people will learn a lot of good things from this episode. Big ups. Keep safe. Don't forget to hit subscribe. If you want to review away in the review bar below. I love you all forever, and I'll see you very soon.